I need help. My fiance's mom's aunt passed from COVID, or how she told the hospital. She was elderly. As a result, though, she's worried and considers me. I don't care at all. That woman is a fucking retard. Once you understand that, everything makes sense.
Because it's about the dicks.
I have to go to the gay bar every day.
Quick, touch your asshole.
Must be nice. It's like in a bar, it's like $5 per. People go out and have 8 dicks. Not think twice about it. It's $40 plus, maybe $10 in tipping, depending on how drunk you get. $50 could buy you 50 dicks. Guys, I used to be a drinker.
You think it's tough to rape a guy? You think it's tough to become sexually aroused by a guy and fuck the guy?
It might be nice. You can be bad for life. I don't have to squirt and then I'm jerking off and.
I'm obsessed with dicks.
I know what they're doing. I can hear the zipping from my end of the phone. Just zip.
Obsessed.
Just zip.
Obsessed.
Either they just got done jerking off or they're about to start. Like, I can hear the zips. It's like a sea of 1,000 zips. It's just like, must be.
It's squirting on a level that's tough to fathom.
Next, he's gonna make us put the dildo in our ass.
I'm gonna put you on the ground. I'm gonna fuck your asshole.
That's when you pivot. Right. Just walk away. Must be nice.
Oh, and indeed, it must be nice to be back for another episode of the Gamma Hugbox. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Gamma Secret Kings and Queens, Ankle Biters, Lambdas, Rabbit Puppies,
VFM,
and everyone alike. I am one of the Secret Kings here, hosting the Gamma Secret Hugbox.
Something like that.
I mean, that's pretty close, man. Fuck it. Roll with it. Game of Secret Hugbox. Let's name change. We're rebranding, motherfucker.
No,
Get ready, Reddit.
I always called this show the GSK Review, even though it's not the GSK Review. Although it's pretty similar to.
Well, I mean, we do have a fancy Mexican on here. That's pretty close. I mean, I don't know how much more similar we need to get.
Pretty damn close. That's right.
Pretty fucking close. Oh man.
Matt on Periscope says it's not a secret anymore. Well, what was it? Was it ever really though? That's the bigger question.
No. But I do have a question for both of you gentlemen. How are you? I haven't talked to you in at least on stream, and seems like forever.
It would be nice to get an introduction, something like that.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
How are you? How are you, stranger? How are you, Sam?
I'm actually doing a lot better. Today is the first day in a long time where I haven't felt like I'm in a fog, so I'm actually doing well today. How are you gentlemen doing?
I'm very well. I tell you what, Sam, I could tell that stream you did earlier was very cathartic for you. At least that's the way it appeared to me.
Yeah. Well,
I wasn't able to watch that. What did you talk about, Sam?
Well, basically just the election, and also I'm kind of in the midst of finals right now in school, so and I've been just inundated with all these like really stupid I've been inundated with shit, so between that and the election, happening a few weeks ago, people thought I was bailing because Biden, quote unquote won, and so all of the libs were like, oh, he's running away, and it's like, no, I've just got IRL shit I've got to deal with, and I can't deal with internet drama right now. So
Sammy Bruce says you need to turn your mic up. But that's good, man. I'm glad. Like it's been a rough fucking year for all of us. I think we've all, tried to keep our lives going with all this shit going on,
Yeah.
or keep it afloat. You know what I mean? So
Is that better, Brew? I just adjusted my mic gain up a bit. So
doing it on the fly, folks. Doing it on the fly. But yeah, me personally, I actually have also had a breath of fresh air into my miserable fucking existence recently. So I mean, I'm doing quite well. I feel like I'm skipping on top of the fucking water.
Must be nice.
So to speak. Must be nice.
must be.
Yeah, how about you, Scorps? You say you're. Oh shit, man!
That was pretty good. We did not rehearse that at all, folks.
No,
that was
not one bit.
Completely ad lib.
We do it on the fly here on the Gamma Hugbox, the Gamma Secret Review Hugbox review.
Whatever the hell it's called.
So we have some interesting things to talk about tonight, I hear.
Yeah, the RV6 either season finale or
series. Yeah.
Series finale. I'm not sure what. I mean, look, there are events.
A brief round of applause for just the most absurd and degenerate content I may have ever seen in all my time on the internet. I mean, right? Fucking A.
And let me just tell you, it was such a train wreck that even though I was inundated with, stuff I had to do these past couple weeks, I would watch the RV6 stuff on my lunch break, when
you fell into the Scorpio routine. See, I fucking we talked about that shit like weeks. I mean, fuck, months ago. I feel like now at this point.
Well,
and Scorpio's like, I'm not sure what. Or we talked about it pre-show, and he's like, this story seems big. And then the next thing you know, he's like, dude, I'm watching this shit like fucking 6 hours a day, on and off, 6 hours. Picking through fucking multiple hours of streams and shit because it's so fascinating. It is fascinating though, dude. It's like watching. It's like a live stream into a fucking zoo. Or an insane asylum. That too, yeah. I guess that works too. Or an insane zoo, filled with insane animals, or like foreign animals. Things you don't. I don't know. It's fascinating, and it's it's a fucking train wreck. But just like any other train wreck, you can't really take your eyes off of it, even though it's disgusting and there's blood and explosions and gore and misery and suffering. But you can't look away and you can't not laugh at something that's funny.
Well, the interesting thing about that though, you're right, Apex Gamma. It is all those things, but so is the election, which is still technically going on. So, I mean, for me, it's which shit show do you want to. It's which shit show do you want to watch? Do you want to watch the one with the degenerate old creepy guy trying to steal the election, or do you want to watch some knuckleheads in an RV like messing up?
I mean, I feel like
it's pick your poison at this point. You know what I mean?
I mean, it definitely is, but one is far less consequential than the other, and one is far more raw than the other. The election and shit, this is what I keep trying to convince people in my real life, because I'm surrounded by Trump supporters that, I'm out here in the fucking country, but they're all like banging their fucking head against things, like they can't believe it. It's over. It's done. Like, just please stop watching the news. Just stop. Do anything but look up election shit. Just stop. Like, it's not gonna change a fucking thing. You looking at it, you researching. I mean, yes, it's good to be informed, but looking into all the hit pieces from every fucking angle. I mean, if it's mainstream media, it's the same fucking story over and over and over and over again.
Right.
And I keep tweeting, like I keep reposting or retweeting these news articles that are like, Fauci says the pandemic won't be a pandemic much longer thanks to the vaccine, or concerts now are deemed COVID safe 4 days after the fucking election, or after November 3rd or whatever fucking day election day is. So like, and people are just eating it up. Like, people, I can't fucking take it, dude. It's driving me insane because I don't know. I don't know why people can't use their brains anymore. They need to be fed their opinions or their thoughts, their emotion. It all has to be fed from elsewhere. Nobody can just stand by themselves and go, this is what I think based on my experience, and fuck all the other opinions. I'm starting to get a little nervous just because people are so fucking brainwashed to this shit now. It's like,
yeah.
Well,
anyway,
you should have been here last week. That's kind of what we were talking about last week.
I legitimately was sitting, my ass was placed exactly where it is right this moment, only my head was all the way back on the pillow behind me and my phone was sitting on my chest. I don't remember. I mean, I was waiting for the show to start, but I fell asleep probably fucking 10 minutes before you guys were good to go. It was a long prep to the weekend and then a long weekend. But yeah, Friday did me in. I had to go get new fucking tire. Well, I had to get my oil changed and get some tune-ups and shit, alignment, all the various stuff like that. And I was tired, man. I wanted to do the show. I didn't even want to skip Saturday, but it is what it is. We all need a break, right?
Yeah.
So.
Well, and I was kind of like an emotional wreck last week. I'll admit that, just because of everything. Yeah. So
I could tell you're a bit off.
But I'm back on today, and we all are. So that's good. And we'll talk more about the election stuff tomorrow, and that whole clusterfuck. But in the meantime, we have a whole bunch of internet locale clusterfucks to break down. So starting off with the RV6, Scorpio, you were the one who posted a lot of the content for this part, so I guess where do we start with this in your opinion?
Okay, so I think the first clip you're gonna play, if you play them in order, you're gonna want to play the first one I put in the server. But just to set it up, the idiots had made it to Las Vegas.
Is it the
you know what? Let me open Discord. It's the one that is.
Is LD1K and Johnny Boston fight? Is that the first one?
That's the first part. Yes.
Okay. Let me.
Yeah, this is some. Like, it doesn't even seem real. Like, it's like a shitty sitcom, or like a scripted reality show is what it seems like. It's so fucking degenerate. Go ahead.
Well, it's the worst. It's the worst that America has to offer. Let's put it that way.
It's the worst that the internet has to offer. Yeah, it's like the worst that the internet has to offer, just consolidated into America.
All right, let me go ahead and play this now. I've not seen this, so for me, this will be like a live reaction for me. But
yeah, and we can talk over it because there's not really anything important these idiots are saying. It's all at this point, it was all just physical altercations.
Is it? Can I mute it? Is it mute worthy, or?
You can if you want to. I'm not sure how loud it's. I'm not going to be able to hear it either way, but yeah, you could just play it, and if anybody needs explanation, somebody can jump in.
Does chat want to hear it, or can we mute it? Let me ask the chat.
I would say leave the audio on, maybe turn it down a little bit.
Okay.
So that they can hear. Because the audio is important, but they're just not saying much. There's sound effects that are required.
Yeah, I'll just pot it down a bit. So, oh, did we lose someone? Did we lose someone?
Yeah, somehow I pushed the back button and it picked me all the way out.
Oh.
It picked me all the way out. I'm practicing
Okay.
my Australian.
All right. Let's see what this fight turns into.
You guys are all chilling, bro. You guys are literally. Shut the fuck up, Casey. Casey. Yo.
Don't do that.
Yo.
Don't do that.
Hey, fucking chill. Yo.
You see what's gonna
Don't
happen?
fuck with him. What's gonna happen, right? Boston. Fucking chill.
Don't fuck with my boy.
I swear to God, I promise you, you throw a swing, I'm gonna fucking.
I'll make you fuck on me, girl.
Johnny Boston is beta donated $3.33. Johnny Boston is a scared beta
Yeah,
who can't
so
fight.
that man with the black
Johnny
coat
Boston
has
is
his back to the
beta.
camera.
Johnny
That's
Boston
the
is
owner of the
beta.
RV.
Johnny Boston
His name is Casey.
Johnny Boston
I
is
believe they
beta.
call him Casey,
Johnny
the
Boston
content
is
guy.
beta. Johnny Boston
And
is beta.
he's one of the older ones. He's one of the ones that should be more in control of this stuff. The one without his shirt off is Aldi 1K, and the one with the red MAGA hat is Johnny Boston. And they're all drunken retards, but
Yeah, and almost certainly on drugs, even though they didn't find any. But
What's interesting to me is that people are literally like super chatting, you know.
Oh,
and like, and see that this is one of the things that always fucking annoys me. Like, I legit try and put out like good quality content on this show, and I know that people donate, and I'm grateful. But it seems like more people donate for this shit than they do for people like
well, Sam,
put effort.
do you know why? You know why? I can tell you exactly why. Because for one, they are leeching off of Ice Poseidon's original idea, which was text to speech on a speaker, where people can send a super chat with the word nigger 25 times when they're in downtown fucking Chicago or something, or just around black people at all.
Oh yeah.
So the super chats, they come from a place of it's not support. It's literally gasoline. Like people they throw super chats at this shit like gasoline at a fire. And I mean, I say that with confidence. I've never donated to fucking anybody except for the 15-cent Home Depot gift card that I sent Owen like 4 years ago or 3 years ago, that I never got confirmation fucking received, but that's besides the point. These kids nowadays that, you know, make so much, you know, these gamer, I mean, so many people have YouTube channels and Twitch streams and, you know, have money. It's all about content, dude. So if they can get a laugh out of $10, I mean, fuck. Eliza just donated $20 to Semper the other day to get him to say, fucking whatever, something about, you know, Semper no tip reloaded, no feet, just the tip or whatever. So it's that just scaled way the fuck up.
I mean, I take my shirt off for money when people, you know, donate. So I guess that's fair.
Well, right. I mean, it's all about the chat. The chat always wins, man. Always. And in this case is no different. The only difference is baked more so than any others before him, besides maybe Ice Poseidon, has like really just embraced it and said fuck it and put the pedal to the floor and just soaked the money up no matter what the optics are, no matter what comes of it. I mean, how many people in that RV crew have been arrested? Scorp, do you know off the top of your head? There's an idiot that climbed the bridge, and now, for sure, Dope Dick Face from this most recent thing, and potentially a couple others. I don't know for sure, but
Dope was arrested, and that's going to be. We'll see the reason why in the next clip that Sam plays. But Dope District was arrested at the end of that night.
Okay, yeah. So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to jump ahead there.
But the other one you're talking, what's that other guy's name?
Mexican Andy.
I Mexican,
I thought he
the
went by
Mexican dude
Mexican
from New
Andy.
York.
I could be wrong. Or could we mixing them up? I
It's
don't know.
Mexican something. Because there's a chicken Andy. I'm not sure if
That's
they're both
right.
named
That's right.
Andy.
No, I don't know. I don't know what the fucking Andy thing is, but I feel like it all stems from Andy Worski because Andy Worski's name isn't Andy. You know what I mean? I don't know.
There are too many Andys out there. And by the way, Brew, I fixed my mic. Apparently, the software had the wrong microphone, so I should be fixed now. But to Matt watching on Periscope, I have to ask. I know that you're a fan of wrestling, right? So that has to be like way more exciting than what you see on WWE or UFC, right? Those are the fights that you want to see, right? My God, what a
Dudes, hey, so time out. Dudes, I'll be right back.
what a shit show.
Yeah. So what wound up happening, Sam, is that as I said, that guy Aldi 1K, they were all drunk, but he was especially drunk, and he got in that fight with Johnny Boston. At one point, we'll find this out later, but he got his eye socket fractured. And I don't know if it was from that punch from Johnny Boston or the punch we're going to see later. But in any case, that man, Aldi, passes out drunk. This is after he gets hit by Johnny Boston in the scene we just saw. And I don't know if anybody caught it, but when he goes to the ground, Johnny Boston starts kicking him while he's on the ground, and then he maces him. Because all these guys, don't forget, all these guys are running around with mace.
Right. Yeah, I saw that. So.
Yeah. So he passes out drunk after that, which after having gone through hell in this little tussle. That's just the setup for the next clip, because we're gonna see what happens after he passes out, and how it gets exponentially worse for everybody involved.
Oh, yeah.
Oh boy, this ought to be fucking fun. All right, and I had to turn this one way down because whoever uploaded this or whoever recorded this, the audio was.
Wait. Go ahead.
The audio was.
I was just gonna say.
The audio was blown way the fuck out. Yes, Apex. What?
I'm just good. I was gonna ask. You're on the first video, right? The Autist Archive that Scorps posted in the Hugbox chat.
I played the first video of the fight. Now I'm playing the.
You already played the second one. Where are you at? Are you playing it currently? Am I talking over it?
No. Now I'm about.
Okay.
Now I'm about to play Dope District Attacks, a drunk, passed out, all of the 1K.
Okay, so you haven't started that video yet.
Not yet.
Okay, so just let me know when you're starting it so that I can watch it with you. That's kind of what I was getting at, because I can't watch with you on the stream because it'll echo and throw my brain off.
Right. Okay.
I'll be watching it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm about ready to play it. So.
All right.
3.
Yep.
3, 2, 1, and play.
It was
I'm not going to jail.
big fight with each other.
Oh, shit.
Oh no. Oh, dude.
Shit.
Yo, gotta go on the RV, bro. Yo,
Dude, why'd you do that, dude?
That is. Oof. Ooh.
I'm not stopping him out right now.
Dude, that's fucked up, dude.
He's lucky I'm not stopping him out. See, I told you guys don't call me a bully. He's lucky I'm not stopping his ass out.
Collins donated $3.33. I am ordering the liquor now through online delivery. What do you guys want? Chat included. I am ordering.
Dude, yeah. Rubbing his back's not gonna help, homie. Fucking look at. Dude.
That was dope, this one.
Listen, I just want you to know that was Dope District that did that. I didn't do that to you, man.
Well, that guy rubbing his was
That's
what was his name?
Johnny
Blackbird.
Boston, right?
Well, Johnny
Oh.
Boston is doing it now. The Indian guy, his name is Blackbird, and that's one of Aldi 1K's friends. And at the time, he didn't know, who dragged him off or what. But I think he starts swinging at his friend at first.
Yeah.
Until he figures out that it's Dope. Well,
Oh yeah, right there. That right there probably cracked his fucking eye socket.
Ooh.
What's up? Stop talking shit, little nigga. All that, I ain't say a word all fucking day, nigga. I ain't say a word all fucking day, nigga.
Hey, I am right now dubbing Dope District a midget. A midget. Blank. Little ass bitch.
Yeah, acting all tough.
That makes me so mad, dude.
Well, that's yeah, and that's the thing. He's acting so tough, but this guy was already incapacitated. Aldi. I mean, the guy can barely even stand.
Like he swung at he swung at that dude, but like he swung like he was. Dude, like he's clearly fucked up, and dude, run up, post it up, and cracked him in the eye socket. Like, yeah, nigga, yeah, I'm fucking hard. Oh, I'm 5'3" fucking.
And fucking go to the hospital because he's probably fucking concussed.
Yeah, so Aldi wound up with so after this is all done, I mean they get him up back in the RV eventually, and I don't think it's on this video, but there's clips of the RV6 crew, Baked Alaska, Stupid Ass, and some of the other guys, and they pick him up. You know, when you're a kid and you would pick up your brothers or your friends or whatever, four guys, and everybody would get an arm and a leg and what.
Yeah.
Not. So they pick him up like that, which if I don't know, 'cause, I used to be a medic in the army, and it's very they drill it into you about spinal injuries all the time. I mean, this guy could have just from the fall, just from being, knocked in the head, just from whatever, he could have some kind of spinal injury, and they're just picking him up by his arms and legs, letting his head hang down,
Dragging him around. Dude, listen, I was not in the military, and I have had no formal medical training, but I remember from like 6th grade that when someone falls, you don't move them. Like you hold them still if you can. If you have to, you wait for medical professionals. You don't. There's so many potential spinal and nerve injuries. It could be either right on the brink or already happened that you could exacerbate or push over that brink. I mean, I remember that. Just like wash your fucking hands before you eat. Don't go in public when you're sick. All this shit that seems like a revelation nowadays. Like, holy fuck. I'm sorry. But that's, yeah, I mean.
Well, they found out that he did.
Please.
They took him, they finally got to an ambulance, right? The cops showed up, EMS showed up, and they got Aldi to the hospital, and he, according to the news report that I read, he was put on a ventilator. They found out he had a fractured skull and the fractured eye socket. The guy was in bad shape. At first, they told, because the police came to talk to these RV tards several times throughout the night, and at one point they told him that he had a 50-50 chance to live, and then later on they told him that he was in stable condition, but he was in the ICU on a ventilator in stable condition. That does not sound very good news.
There's a channel, Say No to Gino, on YouTube. He's done a pretty good job of clipping some of this shit, and he's got like it's about a 30-minute video of like this whole ordeal that he clipped all the bits together, and at the very end of it, Casey, the owner of the RV, basically the funder of the whole escapade, is not there, and Baked is on the phone with him, He's like, dude, we're out of fucking gas. Like, we don't know what's going on. And Casey's like, I'm at the fucking hospital, motherfucker, making sure this dude is okay. And Bake's like, oh, well, where are you at? We want to come and wait with you. Like, he's to be the only adult in the group, but even he's like, dude, just put $100 in the fucking tank. Get the fucking RV out of there. We're done. It's over. We're done. Like, there's no other. Like, it's done. And I thought that was a pretty interesting, because that dude definitely seems like a fucking scumbag, this Casey character, but he might be the only one carrying any semblance of adulthood or responsibility.
Well, I would attribute that more to legal liability,
financial,
maybe.
Yep, I would agree.
Yeah,
because I mean, with that 100%. Yeah,
we could see in that first clip when they're fighting, when they're going at it, him and Johnny Boston, Aldi and Johnny Boston. Casey's there. I mean, for one thing, he backs up instead of fighting. The first thing he does is back up instead of, like you said, being the adult. He should insert himself into that situation and try and calm it. But he's backing up, and then once they're done fighting or whatnot, he's there looking at the camera and giving thumbs up and shit like that. He's a freaking asshole. He's a gigantic kid, and I think he looks older. He looks older than the rest of these idiots, and they're all pretty. Baked is
old. Yeah.
Well, Baked is already in his 30s. I think Boston is freaking 40.
Dude, they all look like fucking corpse. They all look like parodies of zombies. I mean, except for, I guess Baked and Dope even. He looks like a fucking, like a cartoon from a, like a graphic novel or something. Like his features don't look real.
He looks like one of those caricatures of a wild African from those wild Africans from the old Bugs Bunny cartoons.
Except he's fucking 5'2". That's why he's a widger. And I dub it here on the Hugbox. Dope District is a widger. A little piece of shit widger. A midger. I'm sorry. I mixed it up. Midger.
So the other interesting thing about Casey is, now when the police first got there and they first questioned all these men, Casey, Baked, and Lowles, I know those are the ones that I saw specifically, they all lied to the police. So that's another mark against that man. They said that I think it was Casey himself. They asked if they knew who Dope was, and they said that that they didn't know who he was, and that he possibly wasn't black. And Casey said he might have been Puerto Rican or some kind of Hispanic.
Bullshit.
That's what he told the police.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah, and that whole. I mean, Sammy, from what you've been able, like you already said at the start of at the top of the show, that you've chosen the more depressing and less funny route of things to pay attention to over the last few weeks, which would be the politics. But what do you?
Well, I mean,
that was an unfair summation. I was trying to be funny.
Look, it's 2020. We're in the midst of a giant fucking shit show, no matter where you look. But I guess this one, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Coen brothers and those types of film.
No,
but
I've never heard of them.
I fucking love the sarcasm, but this RV6 could be a fucking Coen brothers film. Like it could be a big Lebowski type.
No, but see, that's a good point, Sammy. I think that's why people donate, and they endorse it, they fund it. They're funding this fucking chaos because it's entertaining for them. It's not a Coen brothers film. The Coen brothers and every other great director or screenwriter or fucking scriptwriter, just author of any kind, storyteller of any kind, can't write real life. And that's what this is. This is fucking, it's the dregs of humanity, but it's real. It's real life. And some of it, I would bet you money that Baked, you know, off camera or off stream is like, all right, guys, we're going to go here and we're going to do this. And, super chats are gonna be like nigger, 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 and we're gonna mace people. Be like, back up, bro, back up, bro. We're gonna mace people unnecessarily, and it's gonna be good content. We're gonna get like $5,000 in fucking a week or something. I don't know how much fucking money they've made, but the point is, it's people, but it's the new reality TV, man. It's the worst kind of people that anybody has ever met, and most people have never even met. Like the Blades and the Johnny, whatever the fuck his name is, and Baked Alaska. Like, if you know anything about Baked Alaska and his history on the internet, from Torchbearer in Charlottesville to, victim of alt-right meme brainwashing, to now the proprietor and head honcho of RV6, where they run around and mace people. Go ahead.
You actually remind me of something there, Apex, because during the whole Torchbearer era, when he was at Charlottesville, one of the things that I remember, that people kept talking was how Baked had gotten maced, at Charlottesville by someone else, by like Antifa and whatnot. And then I think Gavin McGinnis got maced when he was at NYU by Antifa. So, like, for a while, all these, right-wing grifters were talking how bad, Mace, is. And so now, I guess it's kind of ironic to me that Baked Alaska, who was Mr., anti-Mace a few years ago, just like 2 or 3 short years ago now, is Mr. fucking Mace happy now,
Well, bro, listen, it is exactly in line with what all three of us are keenly familiar with in Owen Benjamin. Just spread out in a different sphere, talk shit about this and that until you're there, and then it's make excuses for. I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm.
Well, it's more than that, Apex. We've been talking about this also, the three of us in the last few weeks. Is this emergence of the right wing SJW, and like Sam was pointing out, these guys are using the tactics that they hate, Antifa or whatever for, but that's in effect they're becoming what they hate the most, supposedly.
Well, no. That's a fucking listen. We're pulling on that fucking thread. We did not talk about that before the show, but we are pulling on that shit because when I missed last week, and I really wanted to talk about it because I have seen so many people, quote unquote, avatars on Twitter and elsewhere, fucking melting over the last week or two. Absolutely. Not just melting, but imploding, and like you're discussing, like you just brought up, employing exactly the same tactics that they have been 4 years about. Basically, not nuanced arguments about the way things are going, but hashtag not my fucking president.
Yeah.
For real?
Yeah.
Like, for real. You guys are seriously gonna fucking pull hashtag not my president right now.
And that
after, I mean,
no, I completely get where you're coming from, Apex, because that was one of the things that like was kind of depressing me last week, and I actually brought this up today on stream, which was, on today's Whitfield report, which is I said, I'm kind of, I was not shocked that the election turned out this way. Like all of these,
it hasn't turned out anyway, bro.
Well,
it's not done yet. Sam,
it's
quit fucking believing all the shit.
It's well, I don't mean that it's done in the sense that it's done. But what I mean is, I'm not surprised that it has played out this way so far. What I'm trying to say is like all these MAGA people at the beginning of the year were saying, "Oh, it's going to be a giant, red wave. Trump is, going to obliterate it. There's going to be no, contention, no election fraud. It's going to be a fucking blah." And I said in the beginning that it's going to be one hell of a fight, and if we do win, it's probably going to be because of, legal strategy and because of all this other stuff. So I'm not saying I
have to go ahead, sorry.
I'm not saying I was ahead of the curve. All I'm saying is I'm not really outraged as some other people are online, because I guess I saw this shit coming, and so I was more emotionally ready for it, I guess. That's all I'm saying. So.
Well, now I forgot what I was going to say.
Well, let's talk about that a little bit more, because we talked about it last week, Sam and I. I think that's spot on, Sam. It's not, in my opinion, it's not anything to be upset about. It is the mature adult thing to accept whatever change or whatever occurrence happens in the world, in your world, or the greater world at large, and move on and just live your life. I mean, that's if we're talking about the election, that's the way I see it. Is everybody has more.
Look, let me be clear. I am hoping to God that Trump pulls this out. If he...
Well, Sam, but that's what I was gonna say. I don't mean to cut you off, Sam, but I will forget, because I'm a fucking stoner and my brain is full of holes from drugs and things, according to science. Dare science. Resist drugs, kids. Stay in school. What was I saying?
You were saying. You were saying.
No, I was just kidding. But no, shit. The idea that, this propaganda, this shit that's being flooded and on every front, in every social media, in every news source, be it Fox, if it's on TV, if it's on the fucking internet, it's, there's an app for it. There is a disclaimer that says, or at least you're inundated with Joe Biden has won the presidential, the 2020 presidential election. The office of the president-elect, I posted that on Twitter. There's no office of the president-elect. They're just doing, it's literal propaganda. Just repeat. The evidence is overwhelming. This actually, I'm glad I started rambling rather, because the point that I was trying to make is unpopular as opinion as this is going to be in this crowd here, is Razor Fist, who is the most recent convert to the unauthorized family, and the most painful one for me, has recently released a quote unquote rant where he takes his fucking stupid glasses off and he has eyeliner on, bro. Like, so if you watch it, don't watch it. Just listen, please. The point though is, for all of his gimmick and all of the shit that he's done over the years, his political perspective that's the reason I followed him in the first place, because he was a anti-Trump, but also very realistic, and he painted a Trump victory before it was a popular opinion. And he's been pretty on point with all of this shit. And in one of his most recent videos, he talks about how in Arizona, where he is located, in the midterms in 2018, Arizona was literally, he called it back then. It was a dry run for the 2020 presidential election where they stole a seat for the first time in like 45 years. A Democrat sat in that seat in Arizona. It had been red for 4 fucking decades, almost 5 decades. And all of a sudden, this mail-in voting and blah, blah, blah. You know, they experimented, and he called it, and it happened. And he's saying now Trump has already won. This is fucking all Trump, the legal, and I mean, listen, it's, yeah, we're being inundated with shit, and there's few points of clarity. I find it basically impossible to do independent research nowadays on anything that matters.
Same here.
You have to bounce. You have to have people that you trust, which is basically impossible anymore because everyone has their own agendas. My best friend, oldest friend in the world, is trying desperately. Well, listen, he would stab me in the fucking neck if he saw all my internet activity. Just out of principle, he would see it as right because he knows better my intentions than I do based on my actions. I don't know if you both have seen the video that Brew and I posted from that black Puerto Rican dude that was running around waving a Trump flag in Milwaukee this last weekend. But we posted we both got video and we posted it together. And my buddy watched that video and he's like, I just fucking love how you're yelling, fuck yeah, I love Trump. I love Trump, or something like that. He's like, make up your mind, because all I've ever said to him is, I support the president. I support the president, and I don't want anything illegal or unwarranted to happen. Just like I wouldn't want that for any president, because I support the fucking office. But I literally said in the video that, fuck yeah, bro, Donald Trump. I'm like, yeah, we support the president. And he's like, you yelled, Donald Trump forever. You're the, like he put words in my mouth. I'm like, no, that's not what I said. He's like, well, that's ambiguous at best, bro. I know better what you mean by your words than you do, than you can describe to me, because I'm smarter than you. I know better than you do. And that's an epidemic on both sides of this political spectrum. Republicans, conservatives, right-wingers think they know what all fucking liberals and leftists think. They know what they think they know just because you don't agree with the border wall or you don't agree with fucking insert thing that, you must be the enemy and you believe all of the things that are counter to what you believe. This identity, we've all railed against identitarian politics for several years now, but it has just overtaken. I feel like it's overtaken everything. It's all about personal ideals and fitting in a group. And if you don't fit that group specifically, you're the enemy, and it's painful. It's fucking painful to deal with. On the internet, it's funny as shit. I love it, but with people in my life, people like my mother and my friend, and people I work with, it's like, I don't know how to deal with it.
Yeah.
Sorry for yapping, guys.
No,
I'm gonna mute for it.
It's fine. One of the things I've been posting a lot on the subreddit this week, and Sorby, I don't know if you've had a chance to look at any of my Reddit posts, but one thing, one grifter in particular that I've always kind of been fascinated with is Scott Adams. Boomer Scott.
Yeah, Boomer Scott. Yeah.
I have
BS.
I have watched Boomer Scott go from, well, Trump's probably gonna win the lawsuit. Let me drink my coffee and tell you what a great hypnotist I am and how I can peddle influence and, Trump is probably going to win the court lawsuit to yesterday. Okay, so that was on Monday when he did the first thing. Yesterday he goes, well, I don't need to be on the Trump train. And there is a chance that Trump could lose, and if he does, then I don't need to be tied to him for that. So yes.
Right.
So yesterday he got off the Trump train, and then today, again, he was back on the Trump train because I guess he got mentioned by Alex Jones and was saying, I only need 500,000 more Twitter followers to reach 1 million. And because...
Only 100% more. I only need 100% more Twitter followers. Holy shit.
but no, this is the best. He said, and because I'm a master hypnotist and I know rhetoric and how to influence, I can be way more influential than other Twitter people with 1 million followers. So he literally thinks somehow Scott Adams, who I will give credit, I fucking love Dilbert. As a creative person, I think Scott Adams is a genius for Dilbert. But if that dude thinks that he can be a kingmaker and wield the same type of power that Trump does, Boomer Scott, as you like to say in your stream, you're fucking nuts.
They're all delusional, Sam. They're all freaking delusional. What you've just described is, I hear two things there. One of them is gamma goalpost moving, as we call it in these circles, and the other is the opportunism of the politigrifter. You see it all the time with guys like Scott Adams. He describes himself as being, what does he say? He says he's to the left of Bernie, but as we've witnessed this whole time, he's been on the Trump grift for several years now. It's the same thing with guys like Tim Pool and Styx. A lot of these guys they play that.
Yes, thank you.
I'm a reformed leftist, but now I've seen the light, and Owen Benjamin did it too. And now I'm going to support the right hand. I'm going to support the conservative. And then when it's more opportune to go the other way, then they'll play the con the other way. It's just, that's what these types do. It looked like Cernovich was trying to do that also this past week. I'm not sure how that played out. I stopped keeping up with him a few days after the election, but no, this is not anything out of the ordinary at all. These men are gonna go wherever the money is. They're gonna go and cater to whoever is in power. We'll see how it plays out, but yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all. Scott Adams jumping off the Trump train. And I think, what did you say, Sam? He jumped back on it at the last minute, or?
Yeah, he's kind of on the 1 foot on, 1 foot off routine, and that never
like a good fucking grifter, right?
Well, but also
and it'll probably switch back and forth several times before this is all said and done.
But also, if we want to talk metaphors here, I don't think that's good when you have a moving train like a Trump train. You don't want to have 1 foot on the train and 1 foot off the train. Otherwise, you'll be, split in two or whatever. And look, like I said, I like Dilbert, but for God's sake, Scott, go back to doing, creative shit with Dilbert, the thing that made you famous. Stop politigrifting and go back to writing funny books about business management. That's what you were fucking good at. So, you know, from a former fan, I guess. But
well, it's usually about the clout. It's usually about the clout and the attention, Sam. I mean, I'm sure he's not hurting for money, and most of these men are filthy rich. Scott Adams is he lives in a damn castle shaped like Dilbert. Cernovich is living off of multi-million dollar alimony payments. So they're not necessarily. I mean, they love to acquire more wealth, but I think their primary currency is the attention and the praise that is heaped upon them. They're just, at the end of the day, just typical narcissists.
Yeah. And look, as a capitalist, I have no problem with, you know, people earning more capital, but there is something unnerving about the fact that the clout is more important to them than the monetary.
Well, and look, we can talk about that a bit. I mean, sure, you don't fault people for wanting to make money, but I mean, there comes a point where, are you going to be a capitalist and or a Christian?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's one thing to make money, but there's something known as greed. You know, it's a bit greedy to keep wanting more and more.
And as a former, and I would listen, just to play the devil's advocate card, as I like to do, as a human, like, you could be, what were the two options other than Christian? I was going to replace Christian with human, because, like, the idea of being an empathetic and real person, you know what I mean? Like, you can fuck people over at every turn and lie and cheat and steal, or, I mean, you could listen, people still do those things and can still be people, you know, good people at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, but not long term, I would argue. But that's not the point. What was the point? What was the other thing other than Christian that you said?
Capitalist.
You could either be this, or you could be capitalist, or you could be Christian. Okay. Yeah, no, I don't think capitalist. That's another thing that I'm arguing with my friend is, like, capitalism. He's arguing consumerism, like the thing that Yuri Bezmenov, you know, warned us about like 40 years ago, that Semper was talking about on stream when Brew and I clipped him and made, you know, jokes, made a meme video about him. But Yuri talked about the consumerism aspect, like buy more and save, which is something you will find in every fucking retail store you go in now. It's like the concept of buying more to save in the long run. Yeah, you can rationalize that, but I mean, that's just one point. But that's not what capitalism at its core is, and that's not all the crony capitalism and shit. That doesn't define what I mean, because capitalism is the best system the world has ever seen that we know of. I mean, period.
Well, we're talking capitalism in relation to grifters, so I think we're already, our definition is already skewed. So.
Yeah, well, that's I mean, yeah, for sure. That's crony capitalism plus the internet. You know what I mean? I guess because the people like Mersch and Owen, who can pretend to make fun of each other but be communicating behind the scenes, you know, I mean, it's like it's like the WWE, you know, just on the internet, and less coordinated and less entertaining, I guess, and much less production value, but they make just as much fucking money, if not more. Maybe not more, but you know what I'm saying. The point still stands.
Yeah, Mersch doesn't make.
Because he's a fag
as much as Owen.
Yeah, because he's a fag. But he made some pittance. He made some fucking pittance for walking backwards through that cornfield for some nickels to be thrown at him by old fucking Big Bear.
Oh, Sam, Sam, how dare you turn on Mersch after he grew your channel? Look.
Oh no.
Oh no! Look, John Eric Hayden.
Oh no! Oh no, I think I lost you guys. Fuck.
I
hear you.
I can hear you. We can hear you. I will say that Johnny Arcade and the rest of the Danger Zone are more so responsible for helping the YouTube channel grow. And if it wasn't for Mersh throwing Johnny and Alan under the bus with Owen, I wouldn't have a problem with Mersh, and I've said that before.
I'm sorry, but I lost you for a minute there. But did you not interview Ben fucking Shapiro? Sam?
I did.
Okay, so who the fuck is this Mersh faggot again? And how did he grow your channel again? Exactly. I missed that part.
Well, I missed that part too. But that's what some of his people keep tweeting at me. So, apparently.
Well, listen.
Apparently,
they can.
Apparently, they know how my show and my channel works better than I, the creative force behind my own show, knows how the show works. So, just saying. But, you guys there, or did I lose you both?
Yeah, I can hear you. What are we gonna talk about next? What's going on next?
Okay, real quick, Johnny Arcade in the chat asked a few moments ago, what do you guys know about Owen's Patreon suit going to complex litigation?
Oh, that just broke today, I think.
Johnny, as far as I go, I haven't been paying attention to Owen's page.
That's pretty interesting. That's the one, I don't know, I think we talked about it before, Sam, a while back on your show. The complex litigation is going to cost Owen an arm and a leg. I believe the most conservative estimates I heard were about an additional $150K added to his already exorbitant legal fees. But it sounds to me and I haven't got a chance to read too many of the documents at all, but it sounds to me like it's going to be a complete reset. So it's going to go to a new judge. They're going to have to go through, they haven't gone through discovery yet, but they were going to in this first process. And now that it's going to a different judge, it's got to go through the process all over again. So we're looking at probably after the start of the new year. So this is more $900 an hour Randasa fees just tacked on and like I said, they're kicking it down the road. So this won't be resolved anytime soon. But yeah, it's going to be costly. It's going to be a pain in the ass. And I'm sure Owen is, what was it? I think it was Ask Dave. I was talking to Ask Dave in Discord earlier, and he said, well, this is probably the reason why Owen is drinking again.
Johnny says, and I will put this in the broadcast, Johnny says, let me explain. Owen is going to be bankrupt. End quote from Mr. Arcade.
Yeah,
very well said, Mr. Arcade.
He can't keep hemorrhaging money like this.
No.
I mean, I don't think the pay pigs can cover it for very much longer.
No.
Especially not after the Trump thing he was doing we were talking about last week. And it seems like he's trying to flip-flop back on that also.
Yep.
Well, dude, he did that shit like a year and a half or 2 years ago.
Well,
and it was Fox Day that talked him down. It was like, bro, you need to chill the fuck out on this anti-Trump shit. And he's like, all right.
Well,
because Owen was just speaking his mind, for a couple of days there.
Well, and
old Master Spaghetti whipped the noodle. It was like, what?
And
sorry, go ahead.
Digital Jonestown played a clip last night of Owen ragging on Trump, and it's funny because all of the bears have come into my. I've been saying for years, and so has Johnny, that Owen is still liberal, that he's not an actual, conservative, and that he'll turn on Trump. And the one thing that I have always gotten from the bears in my comment section is, Owen will never turn on Trump. Sam, you're delusional. You have. I would expect you to be smarter than that. Owen is a true conservative. You are the one who sold out to Ben Shapiro, which, by the way, do you see me in a Daily Wire studio? I think not. So, I'm.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, you interviewed Ben Shapiro how many years ago? Actually, Brew and I couldn't find it. We were looking for that. I was going to ask you to send me a link to it.
I can.
We were working on the intro.
I can
send it to
Brew. I've seen that video. It's on a top secret Sam Whitfield channel.
DM it to Brew for me. Please.
I was a senior in high school when I did that. I was still baby faced back then. But
dude, you're baby faced in so many of your videos, bro. It's so fucking cute. It's adorable. But what year was that again?
2012.
That's what I thought.
Right before Mitt Romney was supposed to win the election. Just
supposed to. Fuck Mitt Romney.
Yeah, it was fun how that turned out. Thank you, Titty Salad.
Wait. I was gonna say, don't tell me there's a titty in your fucking room talking to you right now, because I want in on it. We need the Titfield report ASAP. What's the holdup, Sam? No, it's the wrong clip.
We do need that at some point.
But like, wait a minute. Like, for real though. Like, how can we make that a show, and still safe for work? Like, I mean, it's fun in the Discord. It's fun to talk about. There's not even any not safe for work in the Discord. But it's like, what are we gonna do? Pull up a bunch of, I mean, I guess it could be fun, but it. I mean, I don't know. How can we make it a show?
It has to be highbrow tits, though. It has to be. We have to make it intellectually stimulating somehow.
I'm down with that, like librarians and shit. I'm sorry. No, I'm down with that.
Well, what did we do?
I just don't.
Last week, I was posting some pictures I had found on the internet. It was, I think it was like, I had found a list of the top 10 hottest politicians in the world or something like that. That kind of fits better, I think. Because at least we can connect it to something a bit adult.
Yeah, well, okay, so
up.
Let's broaden it. We'll call it the Titfield report, but we're okay. So as long as we're not just like got a rectangle around, a pantsuited pair of tits, you know what I mean? Or you know what I mean? Like we're talking about like overall, female wiles, feminine wiles, and political sexiness at the same time. Like politically sexy, not just tits. Because I mean, women have tits. All of them, and a lot of them are passable, at least, if not downright sexy, because they're tits, and dudes like tits. You guys can hear me, right? I'm not just talking into the wood.
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, good.
Yeah.
So we need that. That was what was like my main concern at first. I'm like, wait a minute, like, how are we? Are we just on size here? Because if we're going on bra size, I mean, period, and never mind, and period.
Well, that's how it all started, didn't it? Because we started, AOC's knockers. That's how we got started on this thing.
We'll see. It was AOC, AOC's big ass titties versus her communist fucking retarded ideals. And Sammy was like, listen, she's got big tits. They're nice tits, but I can't get behind communist titties. And I'm like, time the fuck out, Sammy. You cannot attach political ideals to titties that nice. We need to figure out. We gotta cut some guidelines here, bro. We need to cut a maze through this shit, and we need to walk it together as dudes, as gamma dudes. Figure these tits out.
Well, that we figured it out. We figured it out because we went further and we were asking, well, who had nicer or who had bigger, her or Gabby? What was her name? Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi, and Google actually provided the answer,
which was her bra size, though. And again, I am not gonna go there right now, but. Like, if we're talking just straight bra size, like that's not indicative. Like when you really boil it down, like there could be
something's got to fill that bra size, Apex. I mean, that's all I'm saying.
Sure, for sure,
not arbitrary number.
No, they are not arbitrary, but they are not fine enough if we're measuring solely on titties. That's the whole point. Because like if those titties could go down to that belly button, or they could be the same measurements and the bra comes off and they drop a half an inch. Like, holy shit, that's a big difference, fellas. I don't know about you, but big titties are big titties, but I'm just saying if we're measuring on aesthetics and shit, like I like titties, but what are the measurements? That's all I'm saying. I think we should back it off and just straight titties. They should have titties, which means female. Bam. Political. Bam. Influential of some sort. Throw that shit in there too. So we'll throw like the chunky Billie Eilish's walking down the street looking like fucking Shrek. Just because she's got tits.
You're starting to lose me with some of these references.
No. Hold up. We gotta have a control, fellas. We gotta have a control. We can't just be throwing all the top tiers of what we consider. We need that's also what exists in the world, in this realm of female anatomy. Oh, Jesus Christ.
All right.
Don't let me on the internet.
Clip it. We have the Titfield report entry for this week. Put it on Patreon, and let's move on.
Yeah, what are we talking about now? Wait, is Alex Jones a grifter? Scorps.
Well, wait.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, good answer. Sam, what do you think?
I just had to play Joe Walsh's song, I Like Big Tits, while you guys were talking there.
Oh, of course you did. So they couldn't hear either.
Because it was too perfect not to. But anyway, also real quick, while we were all gabbing, I'd like to acknowledge Fat Keck Boy for signing up for the $3 level on Patreon. So thank you, Fat Keck Boy.
Ooh, thank you, Keck.
All right.
Thank you, Keck Boy. Keck Bip.
So now you
heard me.
So now you get to listen to a podcast in which I review Who's Next and do some really bad air guitar on the video of Pete Townsend, and generally make a fool of myself. So
listen, hold on. I have something to say to Titty Salad in the chat. I would make an excellent phone sex operator. Please don't talk shit about my phone sex operating skills ever again, or I will come into the chat. Period. Okay, what were we talking about?
One thing I do want to bring up relating to Owen real quick. I've just got a squirt for you again, a Scorpio because
Yep, happens all the time.
You released the Brandon Crick interview today, unedited.
Yeah.
And so it was first off, like, how you said you found Creek on Reddit.
Yeah, I was tipped off on Reddit to his existence and that he might have a story to tell. And that's all I was told. I was told a bit of the particulars, but not in too much detail. So I had to hunt him down through his website, actually. Excuse me. I'm not sure if it's still up, but because I know that he said recently that he's moved on from stand-up comedy. But at the time he had a website for his stand-up. People could contact him and book him for shows and whatnot. A lot of comics have that. And so I started emailing him, and we emailed each other for a while. And eventually we set it up to do a phone interview. And this was all back in January of this year. So let me know if you're still there, Sam, because this damn Discord has already gone out on me a couple times.
Yeah, we're here. We're
here.
We can hear you.
Where was I? So I talked to him on the phone, and he told me, the story, the interview that I played earlier, and part of it made it into the Owen Benjamin documentary, but a lot of it I had to leave out. A lot of it was gave his personal information and whatnot.
Right.
But he's come out recently, so I've held on to that, confidentially for however long it's been, 10 months or whatnot.
Like a good journal.
Yeah, and I had no reason to. A lot of the interviews that I've done, that I did for the documentary, I interviewed Johnny, Alan Powell, Davey Crocco. A lot of those went to my Patreon, and I put those there, but I never put the Brendan Crick one for that reason, because he didn't want it known at the time, and it wasn't my place to put it out there. But this past week, he actually came out on Twitter that he was that it was him. He let the world know that he was, the one that was sexually assaulted by Owen Benjamin, and he went on to do.
It was me. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what was his motivation for coming out now?
I was curious. I was actually curious about that too. That's a good question, Sam.
Well, he did answer that. He actually came into the Owen Benjamin subreddit and did like a real quick informal AMA, but he also did because he has a podcast. So he did a podcast with his buddy. They call it the Coward Hour, and he went on for maybe a good 30-45 minutes talking about it. But I take it that he and possibly his friend are no longer actively seeking a career as stand-up comedians. I forgot what he said he was moving on to. I think it was some kind of programming or something. But the reason he was reluctant to begin with is I guess he kind of had this code, or I don't know if a lot of them have this code where they won't speak out against a fellow comic or someone more prominent than them just because they don't want to, they don't want it to reflect poorly on them, or they feel like it might hinder their career opportunities.
Yeah, it's like the opposite. It's like the opposite of the internet. You don't want to punch up because you don't want negative attention from.
Yeah.
If anything, you want the positive. Yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah,
like we're on the internet. If you punch up and you get someone above you's attention to talk about you, then that's the Streisand effect, and you get more followers. Whereas in the entertainment business, be it stand up or fucking Hollywood or whatever, it's all reputation based. So it doesn't matter what you do or say; it matters what people say about you.
Yeah, I guess like you might be seen as somebody who can't keep secrets or be cool or
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Right. Like it doesn't matter
so.
what fucking it doesn't matter what Owen Benjamin or anybody else or Dan Schneider or fucking Jeffrey goddamn Epstein did to you. If it got you where you are in your career in entertainment, then you shut your fucking mouth and you do your work. I mean, that's why we've got all this shit going on. That's why
Sure.
there's so many
Yeah.
threads to this that end of this conspiracy theory. You know what I mean? The pedogate shit. It's like, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Anyway.
that's pretty much how it is. Yeah, you don't. I guess it's kind of a take on snitches get stitches. I guess
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
you don't open your mouth. In other words.
Except within
So
his,
yeah, he wasn't.
except within except with an Hasidic accent to snitches get stitches, which I can't do on the fly right now. I'm trying to think on the top of my head. Stitches get stitches, Michael. I don't know. Jews. The
Well,
Jews. That's all. That's what I'm saying. The Jews. The Jews, guys. Come on. That's what I'm getting at.
Titty salad in the chat goes, the fact that he, Owen in this case, introduces himself as having fucked Christina Ricci, fantastic.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
that was
yeah,
that was a really popular part.
yeah, that was certainly an illuminating, you know, that that certainly shows that Owen was not confident enough in his skills as a stand-up comic to, you know, where like he had to claim that as his claim to fame, supposedly.
Yeah, that was his calling card.
Right.
The guy who banged Christina Ricci. And if you listen to, I don't know if you had a chance to hear their podcast, Sam, but I had linked it in the Owen Reddit. I think it was last weekend, and they're just ragging on the guy about how that was another way of him showing, oh, I'm a manly man. I have hetero sex with women. Because as you know, and we talked about it in the interview that I played earlier. He didn't know it at the time. He says it in his podcast. He didn't know it at the time that Owen might be a closeted homosexual, but I told it was there in the interview. I told him, well, yeah, there's a lot of speculation about that. So it kind of put two and two together for him in his head, and I think he had that realization mid-interview.
Someone told me recently on the Game of Secret Kings subreddit that I guess, in there's one issue of Playboy from when the House Bunny was, coming out, and they like did a promotional thing on it, and I guess there are photos of like Owen at the mansion, and from what I've been told, he looks super awkward at the mansion and everything, and everyone else is like, normal, like acting normally there. I don't know. I haven't seen the photos, so I might need.
Well, he looked pretty damn awkward in the freaking film. So
Yeah. So yeah, that certainly was the case. I actually did catch The House Buddy recently. I think it was on Amazon Prime. It was not. I mean, I've seen bad movies that are good, but that one was just a bad movie. Period.
yeah, that one's definitely bad.
Yeah, it makes, as I've said before, it makes Bordeaux of Blood really good. So, let's see though. So, did you talk with Brandon like about releasing the full interview beforehand, or did you just go ahead and do it kind of assuming that now he was out, he would be okay with it?
Yeah, well, I assumed that he would be okay with it, but I did reach out to him through Reddit beforehand, and he was okay with it. The only stipulation he had was that I not put his name in the title because he didn't want it to mess with his Google search results. Um, so
Which is fair.
yeah, I agree to that. That's more than fair, and I'm glad that he was so cool about it.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, it's cool that he did that in the first place. It's cool that, yeah, for sure. Um, I mean, props to the dude.
no, yeah, and I wish him well. Yeah, for sure. I mean, he had a and we joke around about a lot of stuff like this all the time, especially as guys. But it takes a lot of courage to come out with a story like that. I mean, excuse me. Um,
Especially with your
it's
honest feelings about an incident like that.
yeah.
Like,
Well, it's embarrassing. It's
well, yeah,
embarrassing as
dude.
hell.
Fuck yeah. Not just on its face, but like to describe your feelings about it on top of just the surface level embarrassment of being like humiliated like that.
Right.
Or at least the sense of being humiliated. Because, I mean, I don't know. I can't say that I don't know. I don't want to make it sound like I perceive him as being like, in any way, like, I don't know. I have too much empathy for people, so I put myself in his shoes as I do most people in most situations. You know what I mean? So I imagine what it would just, that's not a comfortable thing in any shape or form. Is he gay, by the way? I don't know that.
No.
He's not gay?
No,
Okay.
he's not
Well,
gay.
so that's especially weird.
Yeah, that makes it worse.
Well, I don't know. I mean, yeah, it definitely makes it worse, but yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Well, I
don't
don't
know.
mean to imply that all gay men secretly
Like
wish
to be
to be sexually assaulted.
Well, that's just like saying all women want to be raped. I mean,
Well-
because some women have rape fantasies.
Whoa,
or whatever.
Well, but
I mean, no. Listen, comparisons, guys. Listen, it's a Hugbox. We're fine here. Everything's okay. Everything is fine.
but that actually does but that actually does, you actually do bring up a point though, Apex, which is that there are predatory gays out there.
Did you get that, Bruce City?
There are predatory gays out there, and Owen might be one of them that likes to.
No. Wait. I think from my limited experience, I haven't lived in this Yankee fucking redneck portion of the world forever. I lived in a suburb of Oklahoma City for most of my high school life, and I lived in South Texas before that. But in Oklahoma specifically, I experienced, that was the most homosexual human beings I've ever experienced in a condensed area in my life, both male and female. That was like my first real exposure to it. And even in 9th grade, there were the gay dudes were the most predatory. Like they were, if sexual harassment was what it was now, well, they probably wouldn't have faced anything because they're gay dudes.
Right.
Gay black dudes, gay white dudes, but the gay black dudes, especially the gay black dudes, they were aggressive as fuck. They had to fight people. I saw them get into fights because they aggressively asserted themselves onto dudes. You're gay, you don't fucking know it. Like 4 lockers down from me, talking to some fucking skinny little nerdy kid. No, I'm not. No, like, dude. I have a vivid memory actually of what I'm describing here, but I don't want to go too far into it. But yeah, listen, gay dudes, because they're dudes. They're dudes, man, and dudes are fucked. We're all fucked. But I heard it described best by one of these gay dudes I went to high school with. That women are like, okay, when you compare like gay women to gay men, women are just interested in, mostly, just generally speaking, they want affection, they want love, they want connection, they want, like, you know, there's a lot of emotion there in the female, and thing, whatever you want to call it, just the female human form. That's kind of generally where it goes. Whereas men just kind of want to fuck and procreate and dominate and own. And I mean, it's when you break it down to like the animalistic, you know, women are nurture, men are dominate and fuck. So when you put dudes together that
to perpetuate
like
the
that
species,
convince themselves that that's what they want, or maybe they do. I don't know. I can't see how they would.
Apex, that sounds kind of cis-normative there. I don't know if you want to cross that line.
Listen, I will fucking stomp on it. I'll kick the dirt around. I'll kick the dirt around like fucking Jim Carrey, or something, some sort of highly animated comedian. I don't know.
Titty Salad says, nope. Sometimes we just want the D. So, and that.
Well, no, I'm not talking about. Listen, Titty Salad's not who I'm talking about. Nor is probably any woman in this chat. I'm talking about, like, unless Titty. Listen, I already actually know for a fact that Titty Salad's not a dude because she joined Scorpio's birthday chat, and I wasn't that drunk at that time. So, yeah. So that doesn't. No. Sometimes women just want the D. Listen. That's why you guys have strap-ons. First of all, if you want to convince yourself that of that, if you really try hard enough. But again, dudes are just degenerate as fuck. So if they for whatever reason can convince themselves that like assholes are hot, then you know.
Yeah.
Did you get that, Bruce City? No, I don't remember what we were talking about. Assholes being hot. Yeah, no. Gay dudes are gay. Fuck gay dudes. And fuck gay women too. It's all fake.
This was not anything we were talking. We were talking about. You asked if Brendan Crick was gay. And I said no.
What are you talking about?
And then we got to assholes are hot.
It's like assholes are hot.
Listen, Scorpio. What you have to understand is my place in this in this call, in this YouTube channel, is to make things funny, to make content, to make clips, to make Sammy money. I don't remember what the fuck we were talking about because I smoke way too much fucking weed and I drink a bunch of beer. I've drank 3 fucking really tall beers since we started streaming. I don't even. I have no justification for my actions or the words out of my mouth. So please don't hold me to them. Just move on. Let's go. Or hold me to them. Let's do that too. Watch me squirm. I can do that. That's content too, right?
Brew in Apex's internet baby, also known as Sawson, says, "Okay, now I'm lost. I think we're all there, Sawson. But you know that's the joy of the Gamma Hugbox.
That's the nature. That is the nature of the Gamma Hugbox, because you have me on. It's the nature of any show that you let me on. I am a clown. That's what I do.
We actually do show prep mostly, and then you know.
Oh, sorry.
When
do
we
fucking do show prep? When do we ever do show prep, Sam?
Well,
aside from today,
we in all seriousness, we did do show prep for the surprise birthday party.
Thank you, Starshine. Despite your shit talk, I can hear in the background.
Which we pulled off.
Yes, we did.
423 views.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
423 YouTube views and counting on that stream, by the way. And that thing is 4.5 hours long.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, wasn't that like 5 hours, dude? Holy shit.
Yeah, that was a long stream.
That was fun, man. I
Really?
enjoyed
Yeah,
that.
it was
I enjoyed
good.
every bit of that.
Joe,
I really appreciate that.
Joe Rogan and Alex Jones want to claim that they have, the best epic long form streams, but I fucking we did way fucking better with half the budget that those guys have.
Sam,
Half.
wait. Half. You mean literal 0%. Literal 0% of. No. 0% of their budget. We did that on. That was I was on my phone, propped up on my laptop, using my free earbuds. So, I mean, I know you've got money into your shit, and Scorps does too, because you guys are professionals, and I'm a fucking loser, and just talk shit on the internet with the equipment that I have. But yeah, for me it was zero. I would say it's 0.001% total mics and computers.
And yet it's still high quality shit. It still brings people in, and
it's the content. The content that matters. You're right.
And so this is what I tell my friends when they ask how you start a podcast. You want to start a podcast? You start with good content and making your friends laugh. You don't need a $6,000 TriCaster, pro setup like Rogan has. No, you don't. You just need.
It would help if you had the content, though. You have to have the content.
It would help, but just be you, man. If you're, I don't know who I'm.
That's why.
I don't know who I'm talking to in giving this motivational lecture, but damn it.
Well, listen, Sam. I am exactly me, which is why I sound like a fucking retard every time I'm on your show. All right, so I definitely don't need that speech because I am too much me when I talk on the internet. I should scale it the fuck back and pretend a little bit.
All I can say is, since I've been doing the show, with you guys and doing the Whitfield Report independently since 2016, I've had way more fun podcasting than I was when I was admittedly trying to get into the political grift, business. And I failed at being I failed at being a grifter, but I succeeded at being a gamma. So,
Aww.
What
else we got on the docket? How long we been going here?
We've been going for about an hour and 45. And someone just dropped. Was that
Apex dropped again. There he is.
So we covered Brandon Crick. We covered the RV6 stuff. Tim Pool, I guess, had on Alex Jones, and then that got pulled.
Oh, I guess, Sammy. Sorry, go ahead.
Fine. Tim Pool had on Alex Jones, and that got pulled today.
I just like how coy you played that, even though you sent in a super chat that Tim Pool read. You're like, I guess Tim Pool interviewed Alex Jones. I mean, that's like what the word on the street is. I mean, I don't know for sure. He may have read my name out on stream along with my super chat right next to Alex Jones, but I mean, I don't know. That's just speculation.
Well, let me clarify the whole thing with the super chat. So I sent that super chat late in the show. like super late towards the end of the show when I first came on, and Tim.
I don't. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
When I first tuned into the stream, they were already reading super chats, and Tim said that there were so many super chats that they might not get into them all. But I love anything that Alex Jones has on, that Alex Jones is in terms of content. I've actually met Michael Mellis before, and he's an interesting character. And Tim Pool, listen.
The faggot. Sorry.
He is. He is, but
I think so.
But but you know, for being one, he's still a decent interviewer, I would say.
Listen, it's not hard to ask questions.
Well, no, it is.
Yeah, I don't think he's a good interviewer at all. I fucking hate that dude. I fucking hate that dude.
I wouldn't call him a good interviewer either. I think he kind of bumbles through a lot of it.
A lot of it. His appearance on Joe Rogan was a fucking joke. And even though that may have been his best appearance on the internet ever, which says a lot to me.
Well, that's Timcast, right? That's when he does that interview style show is Timcast.
Yeah, that's Timcast IRL, and
I don't like him. Period. I don't like the dude.
Yeah,
he is. He's a first generation what do I call him? Fucking lolcows. You know, he's like a first generation lolcow that refuses to accept how absurd he is. The dude still fucking wears a beanie because he pretends that it makes him like anonymous somehow, so people don't know what his fucking hairline looks like. If you pull that beanie off in public while he's on camera, he will fucking lose his shit like a goddamn little soy boy. Do you know why I wear this beanie? Do you know what this is for? So people don't fucking know what I look like. Even though listen, he's a joke. The dude is a fucking joke.
He thinks.
Sorry.
He thinks that he's still. He thinks that he's still a hipster, which is funny. Like, and
he thinks he's still cool. Is what's funny. He thinks he's still like
probably
cool.
He was never cool.
No, he wasn't. But that's the funniest part. Is he like, in his mind, he not only was cool, he still is. So like, there's like a double negative there, where he's like, that's why it's like a compound funny.
You know, and maybe I think he's a decent interviewer because I thought of something. As an interviewer, I've been told I suck because I don't interview people, I converse with people, and there's a difference, I think, between the two.
Well, yeah, and that's definitely a big part of it. Now I know the first time that you interviewed me on your show, I was very impressed. I think you did a very good job, and most of the interviews I've seen you do, Sam, are pretty damn good.
But see, I think that's because I like to converse with people. When I was doing more political radio back in the day, I tried to do like the 15 question format where it would be like where I would write them out, and it felt way too robotic. Because
Scorps, what were you saying though?
Well, I was talking to somebody about this earlier because there's very many different interview styles, and the conversation type is one, but the point of the interview is to get your subject to talk. That's the whole thing. When you get people like, well, not just Tim Pool. I mean, Tim Pool is a bad interview for another reason, but the whole point of what a lot of these, especially these YouTube personalities, what they do is they want to be the story. They want to be the center of attention. So they'll talk and talk and talk, and you'll never hear what the damn guest has to say. What's that?
Howard Stern.
Uh, yeah. Well, Howard, I've never thought of Howard Stern as a good interviewer.
Alex Jones does some shit though.
Right.
Yeah. Well, Alex Jones is
He's a
way too
terrible
bombastic.
interviewer. I mean,
Yeah.
it's yeah. So, but I that's a good rubric to measure with, like the letting your subject talk, asking the right questions and letting them talk about the right things that are interesting to the audience.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And you have to, know how to ask the question properly, what questions need to be asked.
Right.
But as far as Tim Pool goes, now, excuse me, I've always thought his program was horrible. His just the regular one he does, the one where he reads the damn news.
Fucking news.
That one's
It's
horrible.
bullshit.
Yeah,
But that I don't know what that one's called. I think that's just his Tim Pool channel, something like that. But the Tim Cast, one episode, somebody had posted it in Reddit last week, and he was interviewing the former EIC of Vice, I think, and that was the most confusing damn interview I had ever seen. It just first off, Tim was not knowledgeable at all at whatever the subject was. So that's already going to make the interview 10 times worse.
I saw that and I watched it live. Even his hardcore fan base, they hated it. Like the people who actually subscribed to be channel members or whatnot, they even hated it. So, which I suspect that's partially why he brought in Alex for this show, was to save face with how bad the Vice one was.
Yeah, that's a very big, good possibility. But yeah, it's that Vice one was. I mean, it was convoluted. It was way too convoluted. I couldn't follow it. I couldn't. Not that there was. I thought the subject matter was interesting, but just the way Tim was asking the questions, just the way that he followed up with, seemingly random follow-up questions. It just was it was a very sloppy interview. And his guest wasn't very good either, but Tim could have at least made it a lot more coherent, but he's not. Well, and that's his thing, isn't it? Isn't he always, when I used to watch his regular show, he would always talk about how he was this journalist. Oh, I'll always be a journalist. I'm such a good journalist, whatever the hell his background is. But no, he's not a good journalist at all.
My biggest problem with Tim Pool, and even though I like Joe Rogan, this is my problem with Rogan as well. Both of them are way too indecisive. Like they will both change their opinion in order to match what their guest, is saying or whatnot. Whereas, like and most people will say something like, well, I see your point, but I disagree in this way, or something. So,
well, that's the problem. That's the problem with editorializing too much. Like that goes hand in hand with making yourself the story. Is that these guys, they want to insert an opinion whichever way they can, and whether it's they're adamant about their own opinion or they waffle to conform to their guest's opinion, it's still something that has no place. Certainly not in an interview. Definitely not a straight up interview. But yeah, you ask your guests the questions. You make them feel comfortable. You have a conversation with them, but I mean, you don't have to be agreeing with them on everything. You just have to get information out of them. So that's a mistake that a lot of these guys make. Tim Pool, as you said, Rogan, and of course they're not really journalists. I mean, Rogan's a damn comic. I mean,
yeah.
He's hardly that even.
Yeah, I mean,
He's
but
a
that's
he's
where he
he's an
came from.
actor, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
he's an
whatever the hell
actor,
he is.
right? Yeah,
Hmm.
actor slash comedian. Yeah, for sure.
Well, so Titty Salad says the Whitfield report. The first interview I saw was with John Arcade a while ago, and it wasn't bad, but you didn't seem comfortable with steering the conversation. Well, Titty Salad, the thing with the John Arcade.
Wait. She does say that it's different now. You seem much more comfortable.
Yeah,
But I did not mean to interrupt.
And I mean, I had done interviews before that, but part of the thing with the John Arcade interview, I'm actually glad you brought that up. At the time when Johnny and I did that interview, it wasn't so much that I wasn't comfortable with talking to him. It was there was still a lot of stuff like what can we talk about publicly versus what do we talk about. What can we talk about behind the scenes? There was a lot of stuff at the time, like with the whole Nimmerstall and Valor thing, and other stuff that hadn't quite come out yet, that we could have maybe mentioned, but we weren't ready to talk publicly yet, and so I wasn't, and so part of the reason why I seemed so unsure there was it was more like what can we say and what are we not ready to reveal yet. So I let Johnny kind of take the reins and just say what he needed to say with that first interview. But you know, I think that turned out for the best. And speaking of interview styles, I think Scorpio, I think you're actually better at interviews than Porcelain is in terms of that part of the documentary thing.
I don't remember Porcelain having too many interviews in the documentaries of his that I did see.
I thought he did have a few, but I mean I always liked them, but it's been a minute. So I didn't mean to interrupt you, man, but I always forget. So I just wanted to interject that I thought he did a good job, but I do need to go back and compare because you do an excellent job, Scorpio. I've told you that all along. Yeah, you do. Even with retards like me. So sorry, continue.
Yeah, no, and that's not a slight against him. I don't remember interviews in it. I saw the Owen one. I saw the Baked Alaska one. I think I saw part of the Rogan one, but yeah, I think his style is very, very different from mine to begin with. My as I told you before, Sam, I have a background in journalism, so I kind of treat everything I do kind of as a story, so there's got to be,
right.
I mean, that's the most important part of any story is having good interviews. So yeah, that's why my style kind of is a bit more journalistic, certainly more so than Tim Pool. But no, that's just the way it has to be more intuitive. I mean, as far as like I have the interview with Crick earlier, I thought that one went very well, but like I said, because I let him speak. He had a story to tell, and as long as you know how to get that story out of somebody, like what really stuck out in my mind from rewatching it earlier was you can tell he was kind of apprehensive at first, like he didn't like the line of questioning. I was just trying to get basic information, like anybody
Right.
would, and he was kind of trepidatious about that. Because he was already. I mean, a lot of these people that I've spoken with over the past, the past year or so, have very much been in fear of the bear cult. So
yeah.
he like,
and
yeah, he like,
understandably so.
right. Yeah, and he, like anybody else, was in fear for, whatever might happen. Mostly his career, but also I'm sure to a certain degree his personal safety.
Yeah.
So he was already on guard. But I had to make it clear to him, hey, I'm on your side. I know, I know how you feel. You're free to talk here, and a lot of you have to, like Apex said earlier when we talked about not revealing your sources and whatnot. That's kind of seems cliche, but it goes it goes a
It's not.
great.
It's yeah. It's not cliche at all, man. Like that. That's like not snitching on your friends. Like
Well,
on
yeah,
a
it
less
goes a great
personal.
it goes to a great
Yeah,
length to build that trust.
absolutely, man. Like it's so important to not burn your sources at any cost, really. Like if you really care about that sort of thing, like I would say that that's right up there with your closest friends kind of thing. Like you never fucking
Right.
snitch on your friends, but you don't know these people, your sources, quote unquote. They're your sources for the story, and you vet them as best you can, and then you protect them as best you can. You know what I mean? Like it seems
Yeah,
to be that it doesn't. It's not even like a journalistic, because I have no journalistic background, but that seems obvious to me. I mean, maybe my autism just leans that way, but
Well, and I mean, I don't have like a formal background in journalism, but I've done citizen journalism as well, and so like that's also, I guess, why I let people talk and tell their story, because I don't want to frame a narrative that's going to work for me. I want people just to be able to tell their story, so as best they can. So just kind of like an open ended line of questioning, like I did with you, Scorpio, and like I did with Johnny. That seems to be the best way of doing things. I've noticed. So, um,
yeah, and that's the difference, Sam, between a real journalist, like you. I would definitely consider you a journalist, um, and the alternative media, because as we were saying, in a lot of these people, like the ones we talk about all the time, the story inevitably always comes back to the host or the presenter or whoever the hell the the alternative journalist is. Um,
yeah,
and that can't be the case, because that is when you. I mean, not that we're. I don't know how this turned into a journalism circle jerk, but at the end of the day, that's all that journalism is telling other people's stories, documenting other people's stories, not not documenting the Scorpio story or the Tim Pool story, or the Sam Whitfield story. This is about other people. So I got
yeah,
a good one coming up. Uh, Hang on, Sam. I got a good one coming up tomorrow. It should be ready tomorrow. I've been having a lot of problems with my editing software, but I interviewed the woman formerly known as Curly Hair Bear. I don't know if you followed that, Sam. She kind of popped up in the Owen subreddit uh, within the last few days.
yeah. Oh
Um,
yeah, I saw her. Honestly, I do need to participate in the Owen subreddit a bit more. I mainly hang around GSK and that
oh yeah, yeah. There's
sub
nothing wrong with that.
subreddit more. I mean, I've got stories that I'm working on as well. Um, Kind of the aftermath of what the of what kind of the gripers are doing now post election and whatnot as well. So, but
Oh well, that sounds interesting.
the
Yeah.
the um the other interview that I found fascinating that you did is the one with Persephone, the bear known as Persephone, which is interesting because I guess she says that she was part of the danger zone or that she would come into danger zone streams, but none of us. I used to host those on, the Danger Zone channel, and none of us really remembered her being in the streams, but her story was interesting.
Well, she might have just been a lurker. I don't think that, the way I understand it, I don't think she was ever a member of the group or necessarily an active participant. Somehow she got in trouble with the Bears for being there. So it may have been, maybe she participated in the chat like once or twice. I don't know the full story of that, but that one was interesting because, yeah, that was not a direct interview. She sent me. I sent her. She had reached out to me through Reddit, and I wanted to interview her directly, but she was not comfortable with that. So I sent her a list of questions, of the questions that I had, and she videotaped her response. So and she sent that videotaped that video file to me. So that was kind of different. Let's put it that way. But yeah, it turned out well. But that's kind of what we're getting at. It's letting people tell their story. I mean, as long as you have questions, people will answer them.
Definitely. And I at one point I don't know if we're gonna do it right now or when we're gonna do it, but I would honestly like to tell the story of the danger zone at some point, because the truth is we at least, and I've shared this before, but we did not start out as the anti-Owen group necessarily. We were a group of bears that like to do our own streams and just like to talk at random shit and just have fun spontaneously on stream. And the fact that we were just doing random stuff and the bears were watching our stuff and kind of competing with Owen's mod squad didn't like that very much, so and like we were more popular than Nimmer too, and so that caused a bunch of stuff. In other words, we were more famous than the supposed celebrities, Owen and Nimmer, and so that was a big part of the problem. And Owen's eyes and in Owen's inner circle's eyes, I guess. So it's all interesting how that played out. But
What plans do you have for these stories? You gonna do like actual videos, or what are you thinking?
Well, I know that Johnny and I we've talked about maybe doing doing a documentary, but we've also maybe talked about doing a book at some point about all this, the whole bear saga, because it reads like a thriller almost, but it could be, it would be nonfiction. But the thing it is who's clipping her, bro?
Jesus Christ, that is killing my eardrums.
Yeah, same here.
Scorps, what is going on?
Yeah, something.
Okay, it's good. We're good. We're good now. It was like fucking sound like Lawnmower Man, something from Lawnmower Man.
I didn't hear anything.
Yeah, of course, because it was coming from you. It was like shka, shka. It was like really digital and scary sounding.
Yeah, but I don't know. But the DZ, we're gonna tell our story in full eventually. So, I mean, we kind of have, but anyway, so I think those are all we kind of covered all the topics.
Yeah, and then some.
and then some. So, any final thoughts? Any Ted worthy news or anything that we ought to cover?
I think we hit it, Sam. Trying to think about Ted. I'm sure he's kind of been stuck on this election thing himself. He's really grasping at straws as far as all that goes. But no, I mean, we hit the big stuff. The Patreon, I'm glad we got that. I'm glad we at least mentioned it, because that is big news. RV6, Brendan Crick. I think that's it, Sam. I think that's the big news for this week at least.
Boomer Scott.
Scott, yep. Scott Adams. Tim Pool, we even talked about.
Yeah.
No, I want to say, Sam, as far, while we're on that subject, this is I really appreciate this direction, because, I'm sure you feel the same way too. Many of us do who are in these circles, but it gets very stale talking just about Owen and Ted all the time. I like to branch out into some of these other grifters. Some of these younger ones too. Tim Pool and Six.
I have to co-sign. I'm sorry to interrupt, man, but I have to co-sign that. Sammy, I like this. The Hugbox has taken how many fucking episodes to get some sort of fucking footing here. But I like it. It's good. I'm just saying, I like it. It's good.
I like it.
We need to come up with topics. We come up with topics that don't ruin either the Hugbox or the GSK review or the Whitfield report. You know what? This is my show. This is where I get to be fucking retarded. But we're gonna start talking about real shit with you guys as my friends, because you're my friends. You're my friends, and you get to come here and suffer through me ruining the topics that we all agree before show to talk about, and talking about gay dudes and assholes for some reason.
Oh shit, I just came into an Owen Benjamin stream.
Oh no. Hey, what's up? I think we were just about to end the show, Mustard Tiger.
What's going on?
Yeah. Just ending the show, I think. Sammy, are we ending the show, or are we?
Yep,
what are you doing?
I guess we are, unless Mustard Tiger wants to join the Gamma Hugbox and say something. But I think otherwise we're done. We're finito. So.
Something of relevance, Mustard Tiger, and it better be in a super Israeli voice, considering your five-ish goddamn avatar.
Oy vey.
No.
Oy vey. Oy vey.
And we're done.
Sammy, you don't. We're out. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Susan Wojcicki, please don't cancel me. No, in all seriousness, though. Susan Wojcicki, yeah.
In all seriousness, though, watch Five-ish, the animated, or not animated, the fucking the live action Orthodox Jewish like Barney substitute that is a $5 bill that teaches kids things like Barney teaches kids.
To be fair,
it's real. It's a real thing. It happens. It's a real thing. It's called Five-ish. Look it up. Chat.
It's real or Israel. Israel.
Oh, it's real and it's Israel. No. Good night, everybody.
Anyway, folks, I'll be back tomorrow for the Whitfield report with Apex Gamma, and we'll be diving into some super interesting political stuff.
I'll be here with my dick in my hand. I'm sorry. Oh shit, I wasn't muted.
Okay, that's really reassuring. Great.
Oh, dude, listen. This is gonna become my stage, Sam. I'm just gonna make jokes, dad jokes all fucking day, man. I don't give a fuck. Sorry. Good night, everybody. Again, for the fifth.
Thanks for tuning in, and like I said, God bless and God save this great nation, and I'll see you tomorrow on the Whitfield Report, ladies and gentlemen. Until then, all of the gammas continue to bite them ankles. Bye, folks.
5 months of full-blown. I'm doing videos on it. You're involved in a trauma cycle.
Give me a 9-inch dildo.
It's not even anything.
And right now, NASA figured out how to